Hello, welcome back. It is Bible Chat segment. I don't know what day we're. In case you haven't figured it out yet, those of you who are watching our fan base, we have some people that are watching our stuff. Hello to all of you.
Hello.
In case you haven't figured it out, Mom and I we have a nice long phone call, and we break it up into shorter segments. So this is Sunday, April 19th.
19th.
Yeah, Sunday, April 19th, 2020, in the middle of the pandemic. And we already did one Bible chat in this phone call. We're going to do another one right now. And not sure which day this will be posted. It'll probably be posted on Tuesday or Wednesday. All right, so what's the verse for today, Mom?
I'm taking a verse from Matthew chapter 6. And it's really difficult just to read one verse. You almost have to read maybe a verse or two.
That's fine.
Before that. So anyway, I'm going to start at 19.
Matthew
It's chapter 6, verse 19.
6:19.
Yeah, through 21.
All right, I'm there.
Okay, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven where moth and rust do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And that was 21 was the primary verse. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. You know, we all say, you never saw a U-Haul in a funeral procession, did you? Have you ever? No, you haven't, because none of that stuff is going to go with you. But the truth is, you know, where your treasure is, there your heart is also. And we will store up treasure in heaven as we witness to people and they come to the Lord. Those are our treasures. You know, you ask yourself, well, what's my treasure? Well, my treasure is Jesus. That's my treasure. And this particular verse, it's just so comforting.
It reminds me of, there's a passage where it must be one of the parables, and Jesus is talking about a rich man who is rich and getting richer, right? And he's like, man, I got so much stuff, I've got to tear down my barns, build bigger barns. It's like I'm accumulating so much wealth. And
Yeah.
It's either in the parable, maybe it's not a parable, I don't remember. Gosh, terrible. Whether it's a parable or Jesus actually talking to a guy. I think it's a parable. But in that parable, it says, well, your life will be required of you this day. Right? You tear down that small barn and build a bigger barn, and then you die. What's the point? You've been spinning your wheels focused on your own wealth.
Right.
And there's... Go ahead.
Well, a lot of people's treasures, quote unquote, become their gods.
Yep.
In the world.
And I think...
You ask people, what's your treasure? Oh, my treasure. Well, it's this mansion I live in. Why are you even asking? Look around. This is my treasure. Well, what are you getting from your treasure? Nothing. Zero.
I heard someone saying during this pandemic, one of the things happening, one of the phenomena is being sheltered in place. A lot of celebrities, so celebrity culture has been hit really hard, and they're kind of exposing their ludicrous or the futility of celebrity culture. And one thing that is coming to light is a lot of celebrities like, oh, I'm just going to shout out to my fans, or I'm going to do something that I think's cute and interesting. And what you end up seeing is these people in these vast empty houses. Right? You see, like, here's one person. Maybe they have a spouse or a significant other, or, you know, maybe they have a family, a couple of kids, and they have these huge palatial estates, and they're sheltered in, and it's like, okay, now what? You have all this space, and it has no real use, no real meaning. You've accumulated, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a big house. It's just the kind of the futility of what people value. People tend to value, you know, big houses, and you know what a big house does? It makes you further away from other people.
Exactly.
And what is most important, like this verse, you know, store up treasures in heaven, you know, where moth can't corrupt and rust won't corrode. It's obviously saying monetary or tangible goods are nothing in the grand.
I also consider my prayers. When I pray, I'm storing up treasures in heaven, because I know, and you know this, that my grandparents prayed for all of us children. There's no doubt about it. But they didn't live to see those prayers answered either.
Right.
When you pray a prayer, it's a treasure in heaven. God will answer that prayer in His time, if it's His will.
Right.
And a lot of our prayers that we're praying, we may not see the answer and the result in our own lifetimes. But God isn't ignoring our prayers. It's about timing.
Like planting a seed. The person who plants a seed from an oak tree is not going to be around to sit under the shade of that oak tree.
Right, exactly.
They are investing in the future, right?
You know, it's just that to me is having that thought that my prayers are like treasures in heaven. I lost my train of thought. It's getting late. It's just that it's comforting. It's kind of, in a way, sort of bittersweet. You might not see, you know, I pray for the salvation of people that I love and know, and I may not see that come to pass before I go to heaven. But I know that God's got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's in the right hands.
One thing that came to mind, and while you were talking and losing your train of thought, I was trying to find a scripture, so we're both flailing here for a few minutes. But I found it, and you know, because we're talking about, we didn't really get into the verse about what, I mean, we did talk about the treasure being prayer, but the treasure is really how you spend your time. So prayer is included in that. How you know, what things are important to you, what do you invest in, and loving those closest to you obviously is part of that treasure. But in James chapter 1 and verse my glasses, oh there, the very last verse in James chapter 1 is verse 27. It says, religion, actually let me read James 1 verse 26 and 27. If anyone thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his heart, this person's religion is worthless. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. And so this is an admonishment for anyone who thinks religion is just about doing things. Even the Pharisees prayed, but they prayed a certain way because they were told to pray, or they if they pray a certain way, they get they get points in heaven, or etc. But this verse is talking about what really matters. What is religion? Religion is a way of life. We as Christians are. There's a phrase that we use all the time. It's not a religion; it's a relationship, right?
Right.
And so, not to discount that we are religious. Being religious is a good thing. It just means routine. There's ritual that is important and significant. Going and fellowshipping with one another and spending time reading the Word, studying the Word, talking to one another, praying for one another. And this verse, getting right to the bottom of it, the orphans and the widows are the most vulnerable among us. It's the people that are in the greatest need that we should treasure. I'm tempted to go on another tangent right here. Let me just say it briefly, and this will be a tease. We're going to do another segment here after this, after we wrap this up. But we're going to do another segment. It just occurred to me, so this will be a tease for this next segment. Talking about orphans and widows, the project I've been working on. It's in the research that I've been doing. I spent a lot of time thinking about orphans and widows, and the orphans are considered the building blocks of the future. It's a recurring theme, or a very kind of at the very heart of this story is the very heart of our main character in the story is orphans. And as a tease to what we're going to talk about in the next segment, there's a device that is used in screenwriting and in filmmaking. It's called Save the Cat. So saving the cat means you're early in the story, your hero does something noble. Your hero does something selfless and sacrificial, or something that everybody who's watching and every character in the story recognizes that this is a good person, this is somebody you should be rooting for. And it could be as simple as, a guy walking out of the house and seeing a cat stuck in a tree and saving the cat. Literally.
Can I say this?
Go ahead.
Can I say this? Can you edit this out if I say it?
Oh, no.
I shouldn't.
All right. I'm gonna.
It has to do with a book.
All right. Oh, to do with what?
A book.
All right.
You gave me.
All right. Hold on one second. All right. This may be the end of the segment, because what Mom's about to say, I may not be able to. I may have to edit it out. So, all right. Bye, everybody. If this is the end, now go ahead, Mom.
Okay. Say it now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, you're talking about that cat part of editing or whatever it is you do. What you just said, I thought the moral premise.
Yeah, you can say that. That's fine.
Okay.
All right. So we're not editing this out. The moral premise. Did you read that?
The book. Yes, of course I read it.
Oh, I sent you a copy, right?
Yeah, I have it right here on my desk.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, okay. This will be a good tease for the next segment. I will, anyway, so let me finish the thought I had. So this character in this story, his save the cat moment is rescuing orphans, basically. And it's orphans of his own people. And that was the theme, their marching orders. The most important thing in the world to these people was to rescue orphans. And so religion that is pure to God, and that's why this story is meaningful to me, is there's nothing more pure than rescuing the orphans. They are the treasure. The greatest treasure is those who are the vulnerable, the weak, those who can't defend themselves, those who will be lost without someone coming for them. All right.
You're talking about all these orphans, and the image that's coming in my mind is 63 million slaughtered babies.
Okay, Mom. Yeah. We'll do a whole,
Okay.
let's do a whole segment on that. Not right now, but you're hitting right at something that's the closest to my heart.
What I'm thinking.
Yep,
Talk
yep.
about orphans.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're on the nose, hitting it on the nose. All right. Say goodbye, Mom. We got to cut this off.
Oh, okay. Goodbye.
But we're going to come right back and talk about this book that Mom, in our new segment that I announced on this past Saturday, we're going to, I think I'm going to call it Hollywood Shop Talk. So Mom's talking about a book that was written. It's a screenwriting book of how to write screenplays, and it's one that I read, that I used, and we'll get into that in the next segment. So bye, everybody.